know I'm jumping around here a little bit, but I don't know. Somewhere along the line, the message will go where it needs to go, and the point will get across somewhere to people who need to see it. And one of those points is this fucking phone, this fucking technology. Let me try to explain something really quick. So I always post about and I talk about 5G, fifth generation technology. So what that is okay, so we have third generation, fourth generation, fifth generation. Right now we're basically in the midst of fourth generation and implementing fifth generation 5G technology. The third and fourth generation technology is basically when people are talking about that, they're talking about the grid of devices and towers and map that are a part of that generation of technology. Jesus Christ, I almost got a nut caught in my mouth. And it's also the bandwidth and the rate at which, and the rate and speed and how much power through connectivity power between the cell phone towers, the Wi-Fi routers, the satellites, and the basically the transmitters and the receivers of these communication devices that we use. Third generation was, if you think about the first smartphone, that was, in order for the smartphones to actually be used and be capable, there had to be a whole platform that was implemented on society. So like you get 3G, and then there's like 4G LTL or some shit like that. So when fourth generation technology came into the picture, there had to be a new set of cell phone towers and maybe a few more satellites put up so that you could get more speed, more connectivity, more. There's more cell phones now. There's a wider band at which you can receive messages and communications. All of these things are frequencies in the air that, they vibrate at a certain frequency. These conduit is message. These messages, whether they're calls, text messages, even some internets, like we have wireless technology, all that shit. It's all creating this static and these direct lines in the air or in your environment, and we are also electromagnetic beings. So whether or not we understand this or not, like once you get to a certain level of awareness, you realize, oh, I am being affected by this. My environment shapes me as much as I am aware that it does. It's in the conscious universe, if that makes sense. You are part of your environment, and your environment is slightly a part of you until you become conscious of it and you're like, okay, I want to change this part. Like, because, like, yes, we have skin, we have our biological matter, and then there's the energy that we emit from our bodies. And then you can go into like the little, like how the skin cells fall off and it becomes dust, and the dust becomes a part of your environment, and then you breathe oxygen and you breathe the dust back in. Same thing with the entire fucking world. It's all a petri dish. We live in a petri dish here. So like when you have a culture in a petri dish, right? Just pure biological matter, cultivating some great bacteria. And then all of a sudden you put this frequency beacon, right? Or this beacon generator. It beeps like a little bit of electromagnetic energy around it. And if the bacteria gets too close, to the beacon, it starts to, you know, change its genetic structure, or it starts to vibrate at a different frequency, or if the beacon signal is really fucking getting a lot of energy and a lot of messages through it, then it's gonna start to generate heat around it. And guess what? The bacteria around around the fucking beacon starts to burn because it starts to get hot because it has too much energy and like all that fucking power surging through it, and the bacteria starts, and then 5G technology comes in, and then you put more beacons in the bacteria in the petri dish that's fucking up the culture, and then all of a sudden you have too much carcinogenic activity, and then all the fucking bacteria dies because it's radio fucking active. So, if you want to understand 5G technology, you can look at some of my videos. Like I try to explain it. I am not an expert, but it doesn't take that much to go on the internet. And yes, I am using my phone. I have to fucking do this. For people to maybe fucking realize it, because nobody else will want to look at it. Do we get a choice? Does each individual human get a choice as to, hey, do we want more beacons in our fucking environment? Do we want, does the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, do they actually understand what's gonna happen when we implement this new 5G grid on the fucking, in the society where all of our kids are gonna be surrounded by all these beacons, all these basically radioactive fucking beacons? They're not like radioactive, but they emit radio frequency radiation that is high enough where it is dangerous at some levels. And that is high band 5G technology. This is some of the stuff that military uses, and there has been no like scientific studies or research or experiments conducted to understand what happens to biological matter when we are exposed to this for like a certain period of time, or like, do we want to shape our society to be to be surrounded by this constantly? Like, what would happen if we just knocked out the entire grid? How much peace would we have? Nikola Tesla once said that the earth is ringing like a bell, and you know, it probably is. It's an emergency fucking bell because we're not understanding how this, if you're not, for instance, your heart beats at a certain frequency, or it beats at different levels, and it generates an